Did you really?
Yes. Well, tape. Okay, no, I don't have tape. I'm not recording on tape. I'm recording digitally, as I often do. Okay, do sound check.
Let's see. It's Saturday. I'm still in my pajamas, and I'm very tired, and I'm stoned. Maybe I shouldn't put that on the digital record.
No,
is that
this is just for my records.
Okay.
All right, and then did you have like anything specific you wanted to talk about, like any big upcoming?
Let's just see where this goes. Let's just be a little organic about it.
All right, cool. Sounds good. All right.
1, 2. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls. The performance is about to start. May we remind you to please switch off your mobile phones. Thank you. We will remind you to switch them on at the end of the performance. Ladies and gentlemen, the house is now open. The house is now open. Thank you. Welcome to the theatre.
There's a summer place where it may rain or storm, yet I'm safe and warm. For within that summer place, your arms reach out to me, and my heart is free from all cares.
There are many different types of noises, and there are many different types of voices, and many different ways of talking. There are many different types of noises, and there are many different types of voices, and many different ways of talking.
You're listening to the sound of my voice. I can read news. Today in Southeast Portland, a firefighter rescued a kitten trapped in a well. I can do theater. I can talk like me. I can go back to commercial voice. Find your voice.
What a beauty! I've never seen one as big as that before. Oh, what a beauty! It must be too big for even one.
And this thing gripped my shoulder.
Maynard, it's me. Get in here. Shut the door.
What the? Get me out of here. Let go of that.
No, we don't have very much time. You need to take off your clothes and put this on. It will protect you.
Take off my...
Listen to me. They'll kill you if you don't do what I say. I'm trying to help you.
The world reeled around me. We were crammed together in a phone booth, and her slender naked body pushed up against the door so that I couldn't get past her. Her skin glistened, slippery with oil. Our sweat and the biting odor of the oil was thick in my throat. I squeezed up against the other side so as not to touch her flesh. I looked down at her small feet, little triangles with stub where the toes were missing.
The story you are about to hear is true.
You're already qualified.
The story you are about to hear is true.
You're already qualified
The names have been changed
to help us change the world.
to protect the innocent.
You're already qualified
The story you are about to hear is true.
to help us change the world.
The names have been changed
You're already qualified
to protect the innocent.
to help us change the world.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Oh, I had a feeling you might understand some fundamental things about me. Holy shit, did you exceed expectations. I can't believe I straight up mentioned a whole bunch of stuff, but you were so plain and honest about yourself, it was easy. I finally felt like someone knew more or less where I'm coming from. Still rattled many hours later. I have to ask, what motivated you to share that story with me?
The biggest question I had up until last night was, why did you give this to me? Well, you managed to answer that, but it's still an issue that's in the back of my mind. Do you just want me to know the whole story? And if so, then why? Just need someone to talk to about it? Or maybe you knew I'd write you something like what you hold in your hands now. But at any rate, these questions are too self-centered and irrelevant, I suppose. Well, okay, not irrelevant. I think there might be a connection. Not sure. Check back later. For now, I'll just have to make do with what you told me.
Passengers Sparrow and Hoyden Carlson traveling to Gothenburg, you are delaying the flight. Immediate boarding please at gate C9. We will proceed to offload your luggage.
Check.
Check.
Ooh, I hate that.
What?
Well, it's recording.
But it's slow.
Yeah, there's a lag on the drawing of the waveform.
Wait, am I on top or the bottom?
I'm on top. So I think you could just be kind of either nagging me. Yeah, all right. Taking what off? Oh, right. Yeah, it was kind of a POS, wasn't it? It got us through some good times, though, but we had to put it down. That's why I had to haul it down to the scrapyard. Yeah. Sorry, what? Bigfoot. Wait. Was that guy the big hairy guy that came around and like... Oh, yeah. Yeah, he took it off our hands. Well, it was just sitting out on the lawn. It's not like it was doing us any good. Well, maybe he's just going to sleep in it. I don't know. Oh, yeah. And then, yeah, go for it. Sure. Is any of this usable?
That was good. Okay. Oh my God, like Zoe, like news, like reggae. What the hell else do we play? Like Grateful Dead. Yeah, like those guys that were like screaming. Yeah, and like all those station managers. All those interim staff members. Oh man, the blooper reel. I think we've had enough okay.
We are now recording.
What are we recording?
I don't know.
Well, this is your bag. What do you want to do?
Okay. So I like I like noises. And that might be a bit loud there. Now that I realize.
Well, if you turn the monitor down, that might.
If we had a competent engineer. Okay.
Can we have a confident? Oh, yes.
Self-deprecation.
Oh, got it.
That is that is not the topic for today.
Oh, okay.
But rather noises.
I should stay on mic. What kind of noises?
Why are you so afraid of me? Alex sent me out here to save your miserable life. Now get those clothes off.
She held a tube of the oil in her hand up to me. Her naked breasts and thighs were so close, and under the other circumstances this would have been like a very happy wet dream. But the fear of the crawling things outside negated any erotic desires from my head.
There is a reason no one wears clothes in the street at night. With no clothes and this oil on you, there's no way they can get you. The oil is too slippery and repels them, and with no clothes, there's no way for them to get purchase on your body. See over there? You can walk right through them. Now strip and get naked, I'll help you.
So we are talking to some kind of third listener.
Our future self.
Our future selves. That's interesting.
Oh man.
So we are talking to some kind of third listener.
Our future self.
Our future selves. That's interesting.
Oh man.
So we are talking to some kind of third listener.
Our future self.
Our future selves. That's interesting.
Oh man.
You've made me believe in love again. After everything went down in my last relationship, I didn't think love was a concept I would ever truly understand. Love is complex, no doubt, so maybe it can't ever be truly understood by anyone. But I think I can try to approach this a little differently this time, having been given a different perspective. And just to clarify, I'm not saying I love you. That would be insane at this point. But at the same time, I can't really think of anything I wouldn't do for you. And I have given this a great deal of thought. Probably too much thought. Thinking can be dangerous.
I'm slightly beyond a crush here, and that email put me over the top. It was the most amazing anything any man has ever written to me. I cried. I've been looking for someone like you for a really long time. I experienced instant mutual attraction like this only once before, and finally finished processing that experience right before I met you. I left our first weekend confused and frustrated. What did the universe want from me? I just got beyond that, and then bam! I'm a very smart, observant woman. I could tell you were interested. Did a little homework, and thought maybe you would appreciate the story I'm dying to tell. You hit the nail on the head with your line about wanting your audience to understand your story in a certain way.
So you've been known to wear various animal costumes. Which animals do you own?
Which animals do I own? Okay, I have a brown bear hoodie, so that's not the full bodysuit. I have a full body shark, a brown bear, I have a bunny, I have a fox, I have a purple bear, and a leopard.
Okay, and which is your favorite?
Oh, I love the purple bear. I ordered it custom. It was custom made for me, and it was delivered to me through a friend at Burning Man in 2011. So it was just that it's particularly special and meaningful, and so I like that one above all others.
Yeah, cool. All right. I am actually very curious to know, why do you wear that stuff?
Why do I wear that stuff? Because I had a relationship with a man a few years ago, and that was his thing. He wanted a girl to dress up in pajamas and animal pajamas and make out and talk about philosophy with all night long, baby. So it was, I thought, well, okay, well, that's a little weird, but I'm already in love with you. And hey, let's be creative. I love a creative challenge. And it was actually really fun, just making out, talking about the nature of time and the meaning of the universe and all that shit. And am I allowed to say shit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And all that shit.
And then the name of the show. Shit.
Right. And then in the middle of it all, be like, hey, can we trade? So we'd swap animals. It was a lot of fun, and, just trying something brand new.
Just a couple of furries, yeah?
Right.
That's cool.
We're just fucking around right now.
Yeah. I tell you, though, I can barely see your voice on there. I mean, I guess if we were recording something of value, I mean, something that's actually going to be used for something,
right?
Then we would probably keep a closer eye on the levels.
Yeah.
I mean, I figure you'll listen to it at some point.
Probably.
Because it seems like you listen to the old recordings.
Yes.
Yeah. I haven't heard most of them.
That's funny because they're your idea.
I know. Yeah.
She stuck the tube of oil between her teeth as her hands flittered over me, ripping off shirt buttons, undoing my belt and flying. As if in a trance, I started to comply, kicking off my shoes and pulled off clothes. The creatures were everywhere on the pavement, outside for hundreds of yards.
That's a good boy. Now let's see some of this oil on you, legs and feet especially. Now stop squirming. You don't mind my fingers, do you?
The oil tingled on my skin. Squatting with her face level with my waist, she looked up at me and smirked lewdly as she rubbed the oil on my legs. And then her fingers were on my privates, and I didn't feel anything but the fear from the creatures that crawled up the sides of the phone booth and thumped at the crack in the door behind her, tearing at it, pushing to get in.
It doesn't take that many fingers. Just a thumb and a finger or two. I can give a better one than the one with all 5 fingers. But the little guy just wants to hide.
A couple of the creatures fell from the ceiling and one landed on her arm. It had a flat, shiny face that was featureless at one end of its 3-jointed body, and it slid off her and hit the floor. Another hit my shoulder, cold to the touch before she flicked it off with a finger.
They're all done.
Oh my god, they look like...
That's what they are.
Fingers.
Test, 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 test. That's too loud. Okay. Test, test. Test, test. Test. Test, test. God damn it.
Join KBOO at the Clinton for our monthly movie night. That was crap. Can I do that again? Madness and Glory is a documentary about Satyricon, the downtown club that opened in 1983. God, this is horrible. Satyricon? Madness and Glory is a documentary about Satyricon, the why do I say down clown? A downtown club that opened in 1983, directed by Mac. God damn it! Oh,
you can leave the mistakes in. It sounds more real. I don't pronounce everything perfectly the first time into microphones. There are many takes. There are many voices.
Lord knows I don't.
Okay, so what was the topic again?
What's amazing to me is, for someone who didn't consider himself to be a writer, he managed to write some amazing messages. In particular, I was taken aback by how beautifully he describes the art of welding. Now keep in mind, I'm not a fan of welding and tools and all that manly shit. It's not that I have anything against it, I just have no interest in it, and therefore very little knowledge about it. But the way he describes it, I can feel his passion for it. I used to think that owning over 2 tons of tools is completely unnecessary, but when he refers to retail therapy, I get excited at the thought of his joy for buying new tools or toolboxes. I guess it's true what they say, you can't judge a book by its cover. All I'm saying is, it takes a good writer to make someone who doesn't care about tools or welding or even identifying minerals and making them understand what the fascination is all about. But there are other parts to Crispy's story that I could really relate to. We'll get to that later.
I also enjoy the way you write. I have an English degree and write better than I live. I'm familiar with many literary traditions, and affairs held through words are very old school. I find that idea extremely romantic and deeply emotionally satisfying. I also need this for another, bigger reason. My emotional cycle is to act, often rashly, with huge, unpleasant consequences. Think, share the ideas and story with others, and then emerge a sadder, calmer, slightly wiser Tigger. I can't get to Tigger this time. This one's so big, I really need help. I have a story to tell, and I have tried and failed to find the right person until now. I believe the universe delivered the right audience to my door. Between those 2 weekends, I wondered how I could play you, but you opened that door wide open and invited me in. I'm hard to astonish. That was something. There's a dark little bunny inside me who feels like she will never escape her programming, no matter how much she gives, learns, or how much penance she does. You've also lived it. I'm crossing my fingers, hoping that if the right person hears that bunny, she will unclench. Maybe this is the right dose of the right drug, and I think a little will go a very, very long way. Would you like to play a game? I think this one has the power to heal, and it's played through story. I write you mine, you write me yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now be taking an intermission of 30 minutes. That's 30 minutes. Thank you. 20 minutes. That's 20 minutes. Thank you. 15 minutes. That's 15 minutes. Thank you. Refreshments will be available in the foyer.
What's your show about? So tell us about those. Tell us about your show. Tell us about your show. Tell me about her. Tell us about your show. Tell us about your show. Tell us about your show. Tell me about your show. Tell me about your show. Or tell us about your show. 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 Tell us about your show, please.
Sometimes something goes wrong. One semi-major setback, and then instead of getting back up and facing the world, you let things continue and spiral down. That's what you have to be careful of. It keeps spiraling downward, and then it can be too late. You are living on the street or trapped in some sort of insanity, and there's no way out.
All right, so we're still recording.
Okay.
So you're going to do some kind of noises, right?
No, you asked about noises. I didn't say I was going to make noises. What kind of noises would you like me to make?
Any kind of noises you feel like making. Fake vomiting or...
No,
maybe not fake. If you fake it too much, it could be...
That kind of hurt my throat.
Okay, well, let's not hurt your throat.
No.
That is not the purpose of this exercise here. I'm thinking, what about, do you know any animal noises?
I think it was the early 90s. There was this, OK Soda was trying to compete in the soda market.
Okay. Soda.
And they had this.
Wait, hold on. It's not great soda, but it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay soda.
Yes. Well, like Snapple. Snapple celebrates, we're number 3.
Yeah.
You know, because there's no way you're going to be number 1 or 2.
Right.
That's captured.
Yeah.
But anyway, OK Soda had this 800 number that you could call. Mm-hmm. Press 1 for realistic bird calls. And then you'd press 1 and you'd hear this guy going, tweet, tweet. Tweet, tweet.
That's a good one right there.
Yes.
Just do a few more of those.
Tweet, tweet. Tweet, tweet. Tweet, tweet.
There are weird people out there.
Are you ready?
Yes.
There are weird people out there.
Bring on the princesses.
There are weird people out there.
Is the tree wearing a beret?
There are weird people out there.
Go ahead, die in the wormhole.
Outside. The things were at my feet. More cold touch as they slid off my feet and swarmed over the pile of my clothes piled in the corner.
Yes, fingers and toes, maybe even a few entire hands. You can see the hands crawling around like horseshoe crabs. They come out at night.
Severed fingers crawling across the pavements. Dismembered fingers and toes brought to life. 40 feet away, one of the missionaries was covered with them. Ripped clothes as the fingers gripped and pinched and pushed themselves into his mouth and nostrils and ears and eyes.
They come out at night, the million fingers of Damien Hand. They keep the streets safe as long as you take precautions. Otherwise, they crawl all over you. Dozens of them will get into your mouth so that you cannot scream. Tighten around your tongue and crawl down your throat. They will crawl into every orifice.
All games need rules, and I have a few. No one can ever know. I'm carrying the weight of the world and my past on my shoulders. And I want one thing in the universe that is only mine. No hidden audiences. The biggest rule is probably knowing when to quit. All things are ephemeral, nothing lasts forever, And I think embracing that up front will probably yield better overall results. If you have any boundary requirements, let me know. How funny. Trying to design a relationship. How often does that happen? I feel like an emotional chaos system, but as an artist, I gravitate towards elegance and craft accordingly. While I too am fed up with games, I have an undeniable feeling that this one might be worth playing. Oh, something deep unclenched already. So much power in asking the right thing of the right person in the right way at the right time.
I do like movies, just not as much as TV. If a movie's really good, then I can get into it, especially if there are interesting characters. Hollywood has largely forgotten how to make interesting characters in recent years, but the problem for me is that if there are interesting characters, then I want to see what happens next with those characters. But after a 2-hour adventure, there's often not any more time to spend with those characters. There's no coming back next week to see what happens next. At best, you have to wait a year or 2 to see them again. But there's no guarantee that there will even be a sequel to that first film, so that's all we get. What am I supposed to do with that? I just spent 2 hours getting to know these people, and I'll never see them again. I suppose that's the main reason I read those emails. I grew attached to those characters. Honestly, I fell in love with them both. But I knew this was going to be more like a movie than an ongoing series. A movie with a sad, tragic ending. And yes, I wept.
Is that better? No.
Sort of.
Still not.
A little.
It's getting there.
Gotta bring it down.
Apples or oranges? Who is your favorite Star Trek character? Running or swimming? Bus or bike? Tape or staple? A or B? Pac-Man or Mrs. Pac-Man? How many pairs of shoes do you own? Who is afraid of the big bad wolf? Go fish or poker? Sun or rain? Snake or gecko? Chinchilla or ferret?
I don't really like fruit. Neither. Pass. Ding. Running. Bus. Staple. B. The mime or the tree? I don't know the difference. Oh, shit. The one time I tried a pogo stick, I fell off immediately and scraped up my knee. No, that's not true. Wait, who is afraid of the big bad wolf? Tricycle. Neither. Which do I prefer? We go to war with the army we have. Okay, sink if I'm trying to get rid of a body. Float if I'm trying not to drown. Poker. Sun. I'll say snake. Ooh. Ferret. I'm supposed to be giving short answers, and I'm just trying to... Why did the chicken cross the road? I got to come up with something good to end here. Oh, okay. You're welcome. Yay. Now what? The week before the man I consider to be the love of my life died, we were talking on IRC, comparing Aldous Huxley's Brave New World and George Orwell's 1984. And I said, Huxley totally called it. There are more cameras, more surveillance in the world now than at any other time, and people still act like idiots. And then I said, hey, I just read that Aldous Huxley's wife injected him with a shitload of LSD before he died. And Crispy was like, whoa. He asked, what do you think happens when we die? I said, fuck if I know. Scientific investigation and near-death experiences seems to suggest that we get one last dream, and that the nature of that dream seems to be aligned with our spiritual beliefs. And we thought about what it might be like to die while you're completely tripping balls, and whether an acid death is different from a shroom death or a nitrous death, and what we think we'd like to have if we know it's coming. Now, Crispy lived in the trailer that he brought to Burning Man, and he just moved to an East Bay trailer park. I'd never been in a trailer park before. And the first time I went to visit him, I walked through the trailer park thinking that when I was 8 years old, I lived in $1 million apartment in France. And here I am with a boy in a trailer park. It was so ridiculously beautiful, I couldn't stand it.
I never would have met you if Crispy hadn't died. So I'm quite conflicted about how I feel about that. And, quite frankly, it wouldn't be as interesting of a story without the tragic end. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel.
What's even better about this is that the bulk of our relationship took place in a trailer park because he lived in the trailer that he bought to take to Burning Man. So this is, trailer park furry makeout.
All right.
And, yeah.
That's awesome.
See the pyramids along the Nile. Watch the sunrise on a tropic isle. Just remember, darling, all the while you belong to me. See the marketplace in old ideas. Send me photographs and souvenirs. Just remember, when a dream appears, you belong to me.
I'm a little teapot. How does the rest of that go?
Short and stout.
Right. Here's my handle. Here's
spout.
Right. When I get all steamed up, hear me
shout.
Yeah, I was going to say roar, but that doesn't rhyme. Shout. Tip me over. And pour me another drink. I believe that's how that goes.
Pretty sure.
Could be mistaken. It could be altered for anyone's purposes. I don't know.
Ooh, that's the remix.
That's the remix. Oh, yeah. Of the little teapot.
Of what?
The little teapot.
Yes.
The little teapot.
Yes.
The little teapot. Oh my god, are we still recording? Are we? Oh my god.
Not to mention the pieces where the dialogue is utterly ridiculous, where people talk on and on about nothing, and then it ends pointlessly like a joke without a punchline.
It happened to me once. You see it happening, but you keep procrastinating, hoping for it to change.
I think this is why they call them random moments.
Like, you know.
I think this is why they call them random moments.
Like, you know.
I think this is why they call them random moments.
Like, you know.
That's how you do that. All right.
Wah, wah, wah.
Well, yeah, we can.
I'm the walrus. Tube.
Well, the 10th is the anniversary of the day that I met him, actually. So,
June or July?
June.
Of June?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm kind of in a weird space. Like, I thought I was going to totally forget it, but I haven't.
Well, let's talk about that. How'd you first meet him?
We were at a camp out.
You were at a camp out?
Well, they have this thing called the Feather River Camp Out. It's in the Feather River region of California.
Mm-hmm. And
they do this every June. And it had to be moved to a new location in 2010 because they were Caltrans was completely ripping up the old perfect, wonderful location. So they let us party there one extra year, but then it was completely off limits to everybody. So that was nice.
And
yeah. Anyway, in 2010, they almost canceled it because there was a lot of snow that year, and there was snow packed all around the camp out in June.
In June?
Yes. So somebody finally thought to bring a keg that year.
Is this in a
frozen
mountainous area?
Yes, in the Sierras.
Okay.
So yeah. But the thing about the Feather River Camp Out was trains, because it's held by train tracks. So trains were partially DJs at this camp out, but they kind of showed up whenever they felt like it, I guess. Train schedule.
Is it one of those places that you can only get to by train?
No.
There's only one train in and one train out.
No. Unfortunately, no. But yeah, no, I got to this camp out on Thursday night. We were the 5th and 6th people there for this camp out that almost didn't happen. So that's when I met him. It was the middle of the night, and he was sitting at a campfire.
You shared these emails with me between yourself and Crispy, and I read them, and it was a very strange, unique love story was unfolding.
And yes, I think fire is alive. It breathes, it eats, it sleeps. Without protection, it reproduces. It is a creature based and trapped in time. And when its time runs out, it dies. Like you, me, and everyone.
So what made you choose that moment? Like, there are a zillion times you could have kissed me. Why that one?
Why that moment? 2 days earlier, there was that blood moon, and that would have been a great time.
Why?
Well, it was right after my show, and I remember Chimsy had come in and was talking about the blood moon and whatever, and I was like, oh, I didn't know about that. When I was a kid, I used to look up the, when the next lunar eclipse is going to be, or this would be anywhere in range to see a solar eclipse or something like that, and that one just totally got by me. So it was like a surprise, and I was like, oh, I want to go out and see it. Oh, I'm on the air. I can't really leave. I mean, I know a lot of people will just leave, go step out for a smoke during their air shift, which is like, okay, sure. But, if you got the music going, that's all that really matters. But I just feel like I can't, just leave the building and go out and look at the moon while I'm on the air. So, all right. It'll be there at midnight. I'll go out there midnight. And I ran out there as soon as I got off the air, handed it over to him. You were already out there, and you were just standing there kind of looking up at the moon.
And yeah, I just had just looking up at the moon at the end, just kind of.
You were standing really close.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to make my move so bad then, but it was like I was thinking about it too much. It just got inside my head. Okay, lunar eclipse. That's a sign, right? Or something. Just go for it. It'd be a moment at the very least. It'll be see what happens. But I was thinking about it too much.
Wait. Wait. Wait.
I gotta say, I haven't read any of that since I sent it to you. And, well, it's just kind of interesting. That's all.
What are your impressions?
Bold. That was very bold. That was, it's dated April 5th, 2014?
Yes.
It was a bold move.
It worked out for you.
You have been listening to Bizarre Love Triangle, produced and directed by Karen Green, written by Karen Green and Noah Madrano, with additional material written by Rolf Semperpon, performed by Karen and Noah. This piece was originally produced for Subhuman Intellect Theater, which airs on KBOO Portland 90.7 FM on the second Monday of every month at 11 p.m.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we take this opportunity to thank you for visiting us here at the theatre. We hope that you have enjoyed our performance. May we remind you that you may now switch on your mobile phones. Thank you very much and have a safe journey home.
How long have we been talking?
1 hour.
1 hour.
12 minutes.
12 minutes.
33 seconds.
33 seconds. Was it good for you?